we kind of normalized it. It's like, well, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, we are killing women because some men think they own them, they possess them. So, and that problem also goes to Mr. Trump, and Mr. Putin, and Mr. Netanyahu, the big man saying, my is bigger than yours, and I'm gonna bomb the shit out of you. It's a fucking male toxic behavior that is creating thousands of people. So, yeah, we have to talk about it. and I think if we are talking about it is because we are more aware of it, thankfully.
Okay, guys, how are we doing? And welcome back. I'm upset today. I'm very upset today because I stumbled on something that I have ignored, and I hated it, and I did not want to ever lay credence to it. These red pill humans, you know. I've done a couple of videos on some, but this one, why I decided to talk about it, because this one is happening in my country. Yeah, as you all know, I'm Nigerian, this honest bunch podcast, I think it's a podcast, you know, because it's obvious that we are dealing in a period where it's all about clicks, it's all about, you know, there is no substance to conversations, you know, and there is no particular vetting of the people that are brought on a podcast, on a show. You know, I mean, talk about Dr. Shane Bryan today and so many other things. But this one, and it worries me because I as somebody who has a podcast as well, I want people who know what they're doing on my podcast. I want people who have a level of expertise on my podcast to be able to speak about the things that they know how to speak. And so why I'm saying this, because I'm going to play a video here by one human. He say his name is I don't know, he says man like, it's in my opinion it's boy. He says man like but you know, he says I call him a boy anyway because apparently he has issues. So let's take a listen and then we get back on the show.
Feminism is a joke in this country.
You're a joke.
And
why
there's
do you
nothing.
not a joke?
There's
Why
nothing. Can I just
embarrassing?
finish? There's nothing that your anger can do. Because if men wake up this morning, every single man, and say we want to take it 500 years backwards, when push comes to shove, lock up all the women, turn them to baby factories, whatever those ideas are that, you know, men in the past did, we can actually do that, and
So
nobody
you're proving
will,
my point.
will stop us.
So you're
if
proving
that
my
is
point.
what we want to do,
Exactly.
nobody is going to stop us.
Exactly.
Who would stop us?
Exactly.
Who would stop us?
Exactly.
However, where women have gotten to in 2026 is as of a result of men being considerate, because it's a natural law. The stronger will rule over the weaker.
Okay, so this was a podcast where Slumflower, her name is aka Chidera. I can't really pronounce her surname, so I'm going to not, you know, pronounce it so I don't butcher her name. Her first name is Chidera. She was on this podcast with this you know, guy. Yeah. And so you know, Slumflower has been she does you know, she does talks, she goes on particular, she has her opinions, you know, and about things that, you know, about women, feminism. She has a wide range of, you know, I would say backed up data with her ideology. So that's one of the reasons I'm just going to say, yeah, I give her that credibility. Most of her ideology is backed up by data. It's not just somebody who is just fuming at the mouth or foaming at the mouth, as people would like to, assume or, tag her, and it's, the thing about it is that when, again, like I said, when you have to bring people on your podcast, please ensure that they are intelligent. When the podcast started, I was interested in the beginning. I think I've talked about it. I was interested in the beginning because they seemed to go after real conversations. As time went on, when Nedu was there, it now became more about sensationalism. And I'd heard kind of funny things about Nedu, but I was like, no. But yes, he's all about, that's what Nedu is. He's all about the mess. And when you meet somebody who is all about being messy, and they throw it out as somebody's opinion, not theirs, when they are busy pushing you, goading you to be so that you will be that mess that they want to be, then that was when I began to like, no, this guy is not it. Because Nedu built his brand on comedy, and Nedu started as a radio guy, and then he built his brand from that to comedy, which got people endeared to him. As I speak to you now, I don't think I want to hear anything from him anyway, so Nedu left the honest bunch, but he was the scapegoat for what happened there. But apparently, you guys, you have to pardon me. My battery I don't understand what's wrong with my battery. It just keeps dying. Anyway, so like I was saying, and so, Nedu was the one who bore the brunt of this first scandal. And then, unfortunately, like I said, apparently, we're not targeting the real messy character here, who happens to be Chukwudi. In my opinion, I think he's the messy one. And so they invite this human. I don't know what to call him in all honesty. But let's use the word sheep, because he does. Anyway, so let's call him Sheep. And so Sheep comes on this podcast, which again, the guest whom again, Slumflower, whose name is Chidera, did not know that she was going to the podcast to debate. She imagined that she was going there to have a conversation and to educate. Do you see what I said in the beginning? You invite people to a podcast. Please ensure that you are inviting people who are learned, who are knowledgeable. That podcast has moved from something that was educational to something that is just about sensationalism, rubbish, crap that holds no value. All they are interested in is what is going to make clicks. And that builds the whole idea of what it should be. They call themselves the honest bunch. No, I think the podcast should be called the messy bunch. Yes, I think that's the name they should call themselves, the messy bunch. And so this sheep goes on this podcast and says, if men wake up and say they want to take it 500 years back, turn women to baby factories, no one will stop them. No one will stop it. And this messy podcast of people allowed him to speak. They allowed that statement to fly. You see, I'm trying to wrap my head around the level of dysfunction you have to be right here mentally. I'm trying to wrap my head around the level of dysfunction you have to have been, or you have to be, right, for you to make that statement. Because if I were, again, unfortunately, Nigeria is structurally bereft. Because if I were the government, if I were somebody in the government who heard or listened to that, I will come there and round you up. No, I'm not arresting you. No, I will take you to a psych ward. I will leave you at the psych ward for evaluation and get you a clinical certified therapist to understand the real foundation of your problem, to understand exactly where your pain is coming from. Because you see that human, this is somebody that has faced reject. He's small and he apparently is dealing with a level of insecurity that is out of this world. He assumes that he is so confident to be able to spew the level of unintelligible rhetorics that came out of his mouth. I have done a video on this level, this toxic masculinity. I'm going to do another one as a podcast because we have to discuss this, and you have to think about, you see someone who is bereft of confidence. He's somebody who lacks it. And so he has to put on this armor of toxic masculinity and what he assumes to be masculinity in his head to actually have said some of the things that he said on that podcast. Please, I want you all, because again, maybe you have not wrapped your head around it, sheep. Let me make it clear. I'm going to also show you guys another video that's a shocking one by Javier Bardem at the Cannes. If you're all aware that Cannes Film Festival is holding presently in France. So let's listen to Javier Bardem.
We kind of normalized it. It's like, well, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, are we are killing women because some men think they own them, they possess them. So, and that problem also goes to Mr. Trump, and Mr. Putin, and Mr. Netanyahu, the big balls man saying, my big is bigger than yours, and I'm gonna bomb the shit out of you. It's a male toxic behavior that is creating thousands of people. So, yeah, we have to talk about it. and I think if we are talking about it is because we are more aware of it, thankfully.
Yeah, and so that is the statement from Javier Bardem about Trump and Netanyahu. Unfortunately, that is where we are as a nation. Remember, this person banned or made abortion illegal. Do you understand? You this twats, do you understand the fact that you said that women to become baby factories? A woman, not one, not two, a woman in America passed and she was pregnant. And then in that pregnancy, they could not let her die because she was pregnant. She was supposed to be removed from life support, but she was pregnant. And so they kept her not as a human, not as somebody who deserved dignity, but as a breeding machine to allow the baby form and grow in her while she was brain dead, clinically, but she was kept alive to breed a baby. And after the baby was born, she was discarded as if she was nobody. Do you understand what it is that a woman miscarries? And because of the law governing abortion, that this woman cannot have the baby, the fetus, removed from her body, a fetus, and so she has to. Do you understand the gravity and of the statements that came out of your mouth? Do you understand that you are actually crap? Do you understand that you are worse than a pig? Because explain it to me. Excuse me, this boy. I want you to imagine for one moment that your mom had you and you never knew her. For some reason, your mom passed through childbirth, for whatever reason. And then you were born without knowing this woman who gave you life. Because I am sure that you were not raised this way. Without knowing the woman who gave you life. And so you come out, do you understand that you are going to be continuously in search of everything and every human that knew your mother whom you came by? Do you understand that est-ce que tu as compris que normalement tu vas être dans cet monde de mystère, dans cet monde de souhait que je veux savoir, je veux avoir quelque chose de cette dame qui m'a mis au monde, que je n'ai pas eu l'occasion même les cadeaux de la connaître. Do you understand how sick you must be? Because, dude, it's not a joke, and it's not about the clicks. You are sick. You are sick here. You are not okay. And what makes it worse is that the Messy Bunch podcast sat there and allowed you spew that stupidity from your mouth. They sat there and allowed you to spew the crap that came out of your mouth. Les choses qui sont sorties de votre bouche, ils t'ont laissé parler. That's why I said, if I were in a country that had sense, I would come there and move you straight from there to psych ward immediately, left there until clinically and medically you are sound, because you're not. This is somebody that has been told no. You see, the thing about it is that you women, we have to really be able to understand that there are a lot of men in this world who are not okay and who are not normal and who hate women, and they will do anything to destroy and hurt women. This person has been rejected, and so he feels small. And he's not been rejected once. He's been rejected so many times. And why has he been rejected? Dude, why have you been rejected? Because you ain't got game. I saw a tweet about someone who said that, talked about him. I'm going to look for it and see if I can put it here, And I'm like, oh, it says a lot. And so many things have come out about this person, and it just goes to show, because this guy is giving stalker, he's giving aggressor, he's giving rapist, he's giving so many things. And we are here in the society that we live in Nigeria. You all heard me talk about the Frank Edoho. I'm going to come out with the part 2 to that, because it got messier, you guys. It got messier because there's plenty of gist. But it's not about the gist. I'm talking to you about the ideology behind these men who come out with all these forms of rhetoric. I'm going to do another video we're going to discuss it. This red pill thing going on and toxic masculinity. We're going to go on it. This same sheep made another statement without even understanding what feminism, because again, you have to really, when you see him and you listen to him talk, you then realize that he's actually uneducated. He lacks sufficient information. The information he's using is just information that he heard from the streets. It's not necessarily with founded, data. He's speaking his information from places and, probably other red pill, sites or, podcasts as well. So there is no intelligent data to back up his claim. And he says that feminism is nonsense. And you have to really look at the person who is telling you that feminism is nonsense, because he says that men hold veto power. I'm like, Who? This is the person that was invited to a. And so we now realize that dude doesn't even know what feminism is. His definition was so shallow, and so it sounded like exactly just something he heard without any form of research or anything. And you realize that feminism is more than that. Feminism is not just about equal rights. Feminism is tackling, the pay gap. Feminism is tackling the safety of children. Feminism is tackling women's rights to good health care, quality health care. Feminism is it's talking about discrimination against women. It's talking about this gender stereotyping that shouldn't exist. Feminism covers a broad spectrum. And so for you to imagine or think that feminism is about equal rights between men and women, you sound shallow. Okay? And because of this, I did a little bit of research on this. And just to, because he also went on to say that men hold veto power. And I'm looking at this person, I'm like, where did this person go to school? Because I know his parents, no, they couldn't have made this kind of mistake. Do you understand? When you open your mouth and say men hold veto power, it sounds, and I'm like, who is this? Who, as in how? Do you understand? And so when just a little bit of research on what, again, he also did say something about women earning more. Okay. And that was where I lost it. I'm like, who is this person? As in, it is crazy that women who are earning more, again, no data to back up his research or whatever he's spewing from his mouth, just endless, cho. And because of that, went to look, and please let me just give you a little, the global overview of the gender gap. So the global earnings disparity, and according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as of 2024, okay, globally, women's the pay gap between men and women were at 17% globally, okay, whereby women globally earned approximately 83 cents, okay, for every dollar a man earned. Now, this was in 2024, and this is an improvement from previous rates because this data stems from data for about 20 years, okay? Now, the global wage disparity is at 30%, and the World Bank reported that women earned 77 cents for every dollar to men. Okay, and it also went on to talk about the regional variation. So, which means that the OECDs, okay, are faring better. Probably the United States, but the OECDs are faring better when it comes to this scale compared to Africa, okay, and the surrounding countries, Australia and co. Australia also is faring well in this regard. And from this same statistics, it tells us that at the current rate, okay, it is projected to take 134 years to achieve global gender equality. And I am asking this sheep, where did he go to? Where did he learn his own? Where is his education coming from? Okay, and I look, like I said, I look at the messy bunch, and I'm asking myself, who are these people? Because while Slumflower was talking and she was making very salient points, this dude was opening his mouth and saying rubbish, and they were silencing her for him to speak. It is sad. It is sad because I would have said that it was just the Honest Bunch podcast. Unfortunately, this is happening everywhere. And unfortunately, too, it is happening. Women are the aiding and abettors of this rubbish. The pick-me's, it is where we have a problem. And I say this because something happened. Well, I've always known. I experienced something a couple of weeks ago. And by going by the type of person I am, I started hearing some very weird things. And for me, it was laughable. I was like, yeah, whatever, I really don't care. And when I heard them, I actually thought maybe it was just because of the way I talked, or probably because of the way I dressed sometimes. I didn't really care for it until I was having lunch with a very good friend of mine. And it was she that explained to me the reason why I was labeled that. Apparently, because of the fact that I could be in a room and hold my own in a room full of men. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, what? Please, let me give you a little background, just a little background to my upbringing. My father, I think I've said it before. My father, where his girls, because we're only two girls, where his girls were concerned, he pushed us. When I mean he pushed us, at the forefront, it was as though he knew, or he felt like, these girls are in a world that is ruled by men, and I need to teach them how to hold their own. And so I've said this before. I started speaking publicly at the age of 8. So it started in church, and so I've been doing that, so much so that even during my MBA, one of the questions I was asked a lot was, how did I get to be so comfortable in front of an audience? And I have been in debates. I have been on, and this was, stage by stage growing up. I've been on debates. I have been on shows. I have been on different places where, I have been asked, okay, could you do this? Could you do that? And along the way, in a sense, I began to draw back because I felt like I was putting myself too out there. And why did I feel that way? I felt that way because I was looking at some people who felt I was acting up or I was trying to be too forward. I saw all those faces, I saw all those looks, and I decided, okay, maybe, So this was because of the fact that there are people who are uncomfortable with you. You begin to shrink yourself. And when I look, and over the years, I began to question myself again. And I think there was a time I told my dad, and I began to question myself. I'm like, why do I need to shrink myself to make anybody comfortable? I don't need to do that. Because many of these people want to be you. It's just that they don't know how to do it. So they decide to vilify you, to mock you, to do whatever, just for you to feel small, or for you to stop doing what you're doing just because they do not want you to be there. And I decided on my own that in those spaces, since we have nothing in common, because again, you have to be in spaces that you have things in common with people. If you are in spaces that you do not have things in common with people, then you are going to be setting yourself up for those kind of things. And that was where I made that decision, that I would only be found in spaces where I find myself with people I have, the same things in common with, in terms of goals, achieve, whatever. Because I just saw it as easier. And there was no, there was no form of, segregation or manipulation. No, it was just clear. Because the differences are usually clear. And that is what I am bringing out here. Because the people are the honest bunch. The men decided that Chidera, slumflower, is a woman. And so because she's a woman, a man is talking, so she should keep quiet. I have seen this before. It has happened to me. And it is termed, you don't have respect. Women, we have suffered. It has happened to me. And I've been told before that is a man talking, keep quiet. And I'm like, what? That you're a man talking does not make you right and does not give you the edge over me. Like I said, I'm going to be doing another video, a podcast on the Red Pill movement and all that. And it is because of these men who were told or have been told or made to believe that for some reason they are gods. And I don't know how, I'm just asking myself, how did we get here? But I think I see how we got here. And so one of the things I'm going to say is I am so grateful and thankful to my father for ensuring that his girls are who they are today. I am so thankful and so grateful to him. Because without that, the confidence I exude, the confidence I have, I'm not sure I would have been able to do it. Yes, do I get afraid sometimes? Yes, that's not me. Doesn't mean that the confidence is at 100. No. But do I get afraid? Yes. Are there times when I doubt myself? Yes. But we keep it moving. We keep it pushing. We try, we fail, we go back again, we try, we fail, and we keep trying until it makes sense. So this is where this video ends for me right now. Please, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do not fail to like, share, comment, and leave your comments in the comment section. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.